Hello, a very good evening and a very warm welcome to the news on Rupavahini and a very happy Independence Day to you. I'm Nipuni Samadaseka.
I'm Javed Bongsley.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa emphasized that under no circumstances will he become fearful and deny the country the independence that it has gained. He said that attempts being made to bring war crimes charges against Sri Lanka in Geneva are only attempts by people who are against peace. The President made these comments addressing the nation at the 66th National Independence Day celebration held in Kagala this morning.
උත්සවය අභිමානවත් අයුරින් කෑගල්ලේදී පැවැත්වෙනවා.
අපේ සීතාවක රාජසිංහයන්ගේ රාජමාලිගාව රාජධානිය.
The President said that it was fortunate indeed to hold the independence celebrations in Kagala, in which the palace and the kingdom of the King Sitavaka Rajasingha was situated. He said that no one expected 8 years ago to find the development that is evident in the country at present. The President said that Sri Lanka is fast moving away from war to peace, from inefficiency to efficiency, from impurity to purity, from backwardness to rapid development, and from dominion to freedom. The President emphasized that when the human rights of the people of the North were denied in the recent past, no one came forward to secure it for them. He said that when the former opposition leader Amirthalingam was killed, when parliamentarian Sam Thambimuthu and others were killed, when the Foreign Minister Lakshman Kaduragama was killed, and even when former Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was killed, no one spoke of human rights. He questioned as to how the people of the North were brought towards freedom. He said that all countries should understand the difficulty Sri Lanka underwent to defeat terrorists. He said that Sri Lanka faced great challenges that were more brutal and severe than the challenges being faced by the developed countries today. The President stressed that if the government did not wipe out terrorism in the year 2009, the children in the North would not have been able to attend schools and enter universities. The President also remembered the preaching of the Lord Buddha to the Ambatta Brahmana by showing an example to Katakiriya. The President said that we should understand that foreign forces are attempting to make the people of the North, who enjoy the freedom, as a shield for their objectives. He said that at all times since the ancient past, foreign aggressors came into the country, and they shed crocodile tears in the guise of safeguarding the people, protecting human rights and ensuring democracy, to protect law and order and presenting similar slogans. The President said that he views the proposals being made to be brought against Sri Lanka as an act of people who are against peace. He said that the basis of these proposals is not peace and justice, but when these baseless proposals are presented against Sri Lanka, it will become necessary to remind them of the bitter past, even though he was not enthusiastic about it. He said that the bitter past should be written in sand and the good experiences should be imprinted on stone. He said that what is written on sand will be washed away by the waves of the sea, but the imprints made on stone will remain forever. Addressing the gathering in Tamil, the President said that it was to forget the bitter past, that better living conditions were created for the terrorists who came to kill us by providing them employment in the army, the police and the civil defense force. He said that taking revenge was never a part of our culture. He said that it should be remembered that people who were born in this country and who have grown in this country have a greater urge to safeguard the unity of the country and to preserve the peace of the country. He said that under any circumstances or under whatever pressure, we are not prepared to deny the freedom gained by the country.
අපි සූදානම් නැහැ කියන එක අපි පැහැදිලිව කියනවා.
The President spoke of the Lord Buddha's preaching about allowing people to live in freedom. It is similar to the people today as well. The President said that people of this country should have the right to live in freedom in this country.
ලටුකේ කාපිකු අම්බට්ටසාකි කුලාවා කමලා පිනී හෝති කැටකිරෙල්ලට පවා ඇගේ කැදැල්ලේ ඇයට ඕන විදියට ජීවත් වෙන්න නිදහස තිබිය යුතුයි. ඒක ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ජනතාවටත් එසේ මගේ රටේ ජනතාවටත් මේ රටේ නිදහසේ ජීවත් වීමට අයිතිය තිබිය යුතුයි.
The people of Sri Lanka celebrated the 66th Independence Day with much pride today. The theme of this year's celebration was "Let us in unison build a nation that can win the world." The National Independence Day celebration function was held in the Kagal town this morning under the patronage of President Mahinda Rajapaksa. The President on arrival at the venue was warmly received by Prime Minister D.M. Jayaratna and the Minister of Public Administration and Home Affairs W.D.J. Sedivirapna. The function started after hoisting the national flag. A large number of students from the schools in Kagal district sung the national anthem and Jayamangala Gatha. Two-minute silence was observed in memory of the Sri Lankans who have martyred to safeguard the unitary status of the motherland. $153 officers representing the tri-forces, the police and the civil defence force and another 2,433 security service personnel participated in the parade. The flags belonging to various regiments were also taken in the parade.
යුද හමුදාවේ ජනාධිපති වර්ණලාභෙහි රෙජිමේන්තුවල වර්ණ ධජත පෙළපාලියට එක් කර තිබින. පොලිස් සේවයට උතුරු පළාතෙන් බදවා ගැනුණු
33 Tamil members recruited to the police service recently also participated in the parade today. The festival was made colourful by various cultural items presented by the students and cultural organizations of the area.
So Independence Day celebrations held today had the largest participation for an Independence Day celebration in the history of the country. There was a great welcome for the President, and President Mahinda Rajapaksa is warmly welcomed by the people wherever he goes after liberating the country from the Tiger terrorists. It was evident in Kagala today as well. The people gathered to the Kagala town from early this morning with the expectation of seeing the president. The respect and the honour being given by the people to the president was clearly evident, and the love and the honour of the people towards him was accepted humbly by him. He spent a considerable time to move among the people and to speak to them. Kagala is a district that since ancient times has received much attention from the leaders of this country. There are many temples and monasteries erected by our kings in the Kagala district since the time of King Devanampiyathissa. It was in the Kagala district that the kingdom of King Sitavaka Rajasinghe was also established in the ancient past. The Kagala town was once again lent colour today for holding the Independence Day celebrations.
දක්නට ලැබෙනවා. අතීතයේ සීතාවක රාජසිංහ රජු රාජධානී පිහිට වූයේද කෑගල්ල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ. මෙවර නිදහස් දිනය වෙනුවෙන් කෑගල්ල නගරය දැකුම් කළු ස්ථානයක් බවට පත් කරනවා.
मानिक से बोलो गबी निधानवी मानिक से बोलो गबी निधानवी ए अभीत धूप जाति रे नाम संग्राम भूमिये जाति रे नाम संग्राम भूमिये जीते पुदा तेलू ले कंगाई जीव जन्मभूमि लंका दीप विजय भूमि अपे
This is a report looking at the path of independence of this country. Sri Lanka faced enemy aggression since ancient times. The Portuguese invaded this country in the year 1505. The rulers of this country sought the assistance of the Dutch in 1640 to expel the Portuguese from this country. In the year 1796, the British imperialists invaded this country and expelled the Dutch. The British imperialists took control of the whole country in the year 1815. The Sinhalese rose up against the British imperialists faster than hoisting the British Union Jack flag and bringing down of the lion flag of the country. The Venerable Varyapura Sumangala Thero was daring to pull down the British flag and trample it in the face of British guns. The Sinhalese, following violation of the conditions of the 1815 agreement, took arms against the imperialists. As a result, there were rebellions in the years of 1818 and 1848. On 4th February 1848, King George of Britain granted a nominal independence to Sri Lanka. It was a Dominion independence status. The true independence was confirmed by the Republican Constitution of 1972. However, it did not take much time to make that independence also confined to the letters of the Constitution.
එහෙත් එම නිදහසද වචනයට පමණක් සීමා වීමට වැඩි කල් ගත වූයේ නැත. එදා අධිරාජ්‍යවාදීන් රට තුළ නිර්මාණය කළ ජාතිවාදී සහ වාර්ගික මතිමතාන්තර යලි උතුරෙන් ඇවිලෙන්නට පටන් ගත්තේ.
The communal and ethnic division served by the imperialists started to ignite from the north. The northern terrorism engulfed the whole country. The people lost hope of the future of their life due to the bomb blasts and massacres carried out by the terrorists almost every day. The terrorists, who called themselves as Elam revolutionaries, massacred the people without any differentiation between Tamils and the Sinhalese. In displaying the zenith of their brutality, they inhumanly massacred state leaders, chiefs of security forces, and even children. The students in the north had to wear the cyanide capsule, discarding the pen and pencil. The wailing that emanated from all parts of the country became a sign of showcasing the unitary status of the country. Several leaders of the country became victims by the orders given by the megalomaniac terrorist leader. The Sri Lankans took a decisive decision in the year 2005 to wipe out the terrorist menace from the soil of this country and to establish a peaceful nation. From that day onwards, President Mahinda Rajapaksa became the guardian of this country. With the launch of operations against terrorism, the pro-Tiger terrorist forces attempted to strangle the leadership of this country. Instead of taking steps backwards as it happened in the past, several positive steps were made. The heroic forces under the right leadership marched forward uninterruptedly for the liberation of the motherland. As a result of this, the terrorism which destroyed the country for 3 decades was completely eliminated in the year 2009. From that day onwards, the Sri Lankans are enjoying the true independence in this country. After ending terrorism, the President has taken the Independence Day celebrations to Kandy, Kataragama, Anuradhapura, Trincomalee and Kagala districts. By taking the Independence Day celebrations, which had been confined to Colombo alone, to rural areas as well, a steep development has taken place in those areas.
International legal expert Dr. Nihal Henry Kurupu said that the Western countries are accusing Sri Lanka to divert the attention of human rights violations and war crimes allegations being made against them. He pointed out that the International War Crimes Tribunal has failed to investigate into war crimes carried out by the United States and Britain. Mr. Kurupu made these observations in a special interview with National Rupavahini. Mr. Nihal Kurupu is a holder of a doctorate on political science from the Victoria University of Australia. He is a scholar in international law. He pointed out that there is convincing evidence about war crimes and human rights violations by Western countries.
China and Asia itself as independent country. It's got 18 trillion or so debt, but there's no question, no issue to answer, particularly considering the fact that the ICC has failed, in my view, and in the view of some eminent lawyers, to adequately investigate war crimes and human rights violations perpetrated by big powers such as the US and UK. A recent document, a report, 250 pages of very detailed instances of human rights violations and war crimes, was presented to the presented by the European Commission and Constitution for Human Rights violations to the ICC, challenging the chairman, challenged the ICC to treat that document and investigate it fairly as they would in the case of smaller countries. So I assume a country like Sri Lanka, whose war crimes haven't been reported by such a body as yet, is entitled to ask, why is it that big powers that have hugely, comparatively poor records of human rights and war crimes to answer for are not investigated by the ICC? The US and the UK, who have been under a lot of pressure and exposure of human rights violations, are using Sri Lanka as I think, a diversionary tactic to get attention away from themselves.
Acceptance of nominations for the forthcoming provincial council elections will end at 12 noon on the 6th of this month. The time period was placing deposits by independent groups will end at 12 noon tomorrow. The election secretariat informed that many political parties and independent groups are scheduled to submit their nominations tomorrow. The obtaining of signatures of the candidates of the United People's Freedom Alliance ended this morning. The UPFA is scheduled to hand in their nominations for all districts tomorrow. The former Provincial Council Minister Uday Gamanpila had been appointed to lead the UPFA group in the Colombo district. The former Chief Minister Prasanna Ranatunga will lead the Gampaha district. The leadership of the Kaltara district has been handed over to the former Provincial Minister Jagat Angage. The Galle district UPFA leader will be the former Chief Minister of the Southern Province, Shan Vijayalal de Silva. The former Provincial Minister, Chandim Rasaputra, will be the leader of the Matra district. The former Chairman of the Southern Province, Somavansa Kotagura, has been appointed as the UPFA leader for the Hambantota district. The Treasurer of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Minister Dallas Alaperuma, said that this election will go into history as election of many youths and intelligentsia contesting from the United People's Freedom Alliance. He said that President Mahinda Rajapaksa gave instructions to the nomination board and the election steering committee in this connection. Minister Dallas Alaperuma said that 18 lawyers, 4 engineers, 2 doctors, 7 artists and 9 from the teaching service, including principals and educational directors, and 1 journalist will contest the elections from the UPFA.
විදුහල්පතිවරුන් අධ්‍යාපන අධ්‍යක්ෂකවරුන් ඇතුළු ගුරු සේවයේ නිරත 9 දෙනෙකු සහ මාධ්‍යවේදියෙකුද සඳහන් යටතේ තරඟ කරන බව අලහප්පෙරුම් මහතා සඳහන් කරයි.
The nominations of the United National Party are also to be handed in tomorrow. The signing of the nomination papers took place at the party headquarters, Sirikota, today. The internal sources of the party said that former Provincial Council members Shiral Raktilaka and Maitri Gunaratna will not get nominations for this election. The parliamentarian Anuruddha Disanayaka said that nominations of the Janata Vimukti Peruna will be handed over to the returning officers tomorrow and the day after. He said that obtaining signatures from the candidates were held yesterday and today.
Well, in still more local news, exercising prerogative powers, the President granted clemency to 1,233 prison inmates who were released today in connection with the 66th Independence Day celebrations. The Ministry of Rehabilitation and Prison Reforms informed that there were 39 female inmates among them. The release of these prisoners under the presidential pardon was held at the Valikada prison this morning. The inmates who were serving minor sentences were released in this batch. Before leaving the prison premises, they performed religious rites. Minister Chandra Sirigajatira and Commissioner General of Prisons Chandraratna Palagama also attended the occasion.
The naval artillery salute being given in respect of the Independence Day was held near the lighthouse of Goreface this afternoon. The Navy carries out this artillery gun salute every year since 1948. At 12 noon today, 25 artillery gun salutes were made accordingly.
You're watching the news on Rupavahini, and we have Chamini in the studio with us with the sports news. Good evening, Chamini.
Good evening, Nipune. Here's the latest on sports. The second test between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh started at the Ahmed Chowdhury Stadium in Bangladesh today. The Sri Lankan team batting first was 314 for the loss of 5 wickets at close of play today. The opening batsman Dimuth Karunaratne was out for 31 runs and Kaushal Silva for 11 runs. Mahala Jayawardene and Kumar Sangakkara built a partnership of 178 runs for the third wicket. Kumar Sangakkara scored his 34th test century in today's match. He scored 160 not out, which included 19 fours and 3 sixes. Mahala Jayawardene scored 72 runs. Shakib Al Hasan took 2 wickets.
Mahala Jayawardene ලකුණු 72යි. Shakib Al Hasan කඩලු දෙකක් විඳ
Maybe it's Sangakkara's 100. We'll have to wait and see. In fact, that is his 100. Well played, Kumar Sangakkara. His 34th 100 in Test cricket.
In the Dialogue Rugby League tournament match played at CR Ground in Colombo today, the CHNFC team defeated Hambantota Sharks by 39 to 34. Charitha Kapkadur, who is a champion of putt shot throw, created a new Sri Lanka record today. He made a throw of 17.43 meters at the New York State Athletic Meet. The Sri Lanka cricket has insisted that an ICC executive committee discussion should be held about the proposal to grant all powers of international cricket to India, Australia and England. The meeting is to be held tomorrow.
Well, that's it for tonight's news. Do watch us tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.